I'm 28. I am a immigrant Australian national. I live in Canada. I spent a lot of my life traveling and learning a lot of different things, from language to music to art to movement. I'm a yoga instructor, I'm a sex educator, I'm a sex worker, I'm trans, I'm queer, and I'm a community organizer. In yoga, we use breath to be in the present moment. So to focus on your breathing is to be in the present moment. The people who do yoga with intention to find spiritual clarity often use mindfulness techniques and concentrate on their breath, prana, to basically to clear the channels of the body so that you create more ideal conditions for the human body to exist in. For me, mindfulness technique is most easily accessible through conscious breathing. And that can be counting your breath, simple as just noticing your breath. Usually the moment that you bring awareness to something, something starts to shift because nothing is static. So the moment you go, oh, that's like that, it starts to immediately move again. And if you do that with your breath, usually it helps you breathe a little deeper or a little longer. There are some specific techniques that I like too, like 8-count breaths, where 7 of those breaths is inhale, and then on the 8, it's a turnaround, so you almost pause, and then 7 breaths out, and then the 8 is the turnaround where you almost pause, and then back in again. And if you do 10 of those breaths in a row, and if you lose count or lose focus, you come back, you start again. It's a great technique to bring you back into the present moment, because when you notice your breathing, you cannot not be in the present moment. I was more concerned with who I should be, whether I had reached that point or not, and how to get there. And I'm pretty sure that everybody knows what that feels like, and it's not fun. I am 28 and I haven't done these things. I'm not at this certain point. My life doesn't look, my body doesn't look, my relationships don't look like how I picture them, how I imagine them to be, or these sort of preconceived ideas about what our future or who we are is supposed to look like. And so before I started trying to check in with myself in the present moment, it was a lot more of an anxious way to live.
So for you, a lot of being mindful means accepting your life and yourself the way that you are.
Yes, accepting myself, my life as it is, the reality of how it is, but also seeing it as whole, rather than seeing it with this sort of resigned sense of, oh, well, that's just how it really is. I think wholeness and mindfulness, especially in the West, are two very connected concepts, or they should be, because I think oftentimes we consider ourselves not whole, and everything within our culture backs that up, especially consumer capitalism. If you perceive yourself as whole to begin with, as you are, you really can't, there's no further place to fall, and the only progression is forward. And if you have the ability to consciously meditate on that fact, you can exist within the here and now without worrying about what was before or what will come, and it can be very freeing. The only reason why we are not present all the time is because we like to avoid pain. I think it's a basic human impulse. We don't like the discomfort of pain because we are an emotional creature, an emotional, physical, and a spiritual creature. We don't like situations that put us in discomfort, and we use anything we can to get ourselves out of them. But when we do that, we're not actually functioning in the present moment. So there's a discord between reality and our decided, perceived notion of reality. So, for instance, in an emotional conflict, it would be sometimes easier to check out rather than existing in the pain of that conflict. The beauty of existing within the present moment is that there is no higher truth. So, in a way, there's nothing else to run from. So it can be quite freeing. I think something that I began to take on from as lessons from different teachers of mine was that that there's nowhere to go but right here, and that if I run away from that, I'm not really experiencing right now. To try and consciously, constantly come back to being in the present moment changed everything. From a physical perspective, my digestion got better, my sleep got better, I got over insomnia, and eating disorders and body image issues, just because I decided that actually I was always whole. And it's not like that's just a constant realization. Sometimes you have to remind yourself it's just a constant practice of whatever it takes, creating the ideal conditions for you to live the way that you want to live. And maybe the way you want to live is to consider yourself happy. So what does it take to make you